I just finished watching the second draft of Holo the film. I've got a story for you. For this one, you're actually gonna love it. And I wanna ask you a question. Have you ever felt so stuck on which lens to use if you're actually supposed to use one lens in a project? Alan Bossier reached out to me a few weeks ago and he was like, I want you to help me as a DP film my feature film. And he asked me what gear would I prefer to use, what lens would I use. And we were going all around trying to think about the gear and everything. He was actually saying, you know, we could shoot on an FX3 and I don't know, a Sigma 24-70 or something, but then I really wanted to explore a certain lens, this one lens, but then we didn't have an alternatives for an anamorphic lens, and so we had to actually shoot the entire thing on just one lens. Have you ever felt stuck trying to choose a lens that you're going to choose for a project and then you're afraid you're gonna feel stuck? Then let me unstuck you. So on our recent film, Holo, I decided to flip things over and just use this one lens, 40mm Sirui anamorphic with the blue filter. And actually we were filming in a very small space. I was amazed how much we were able to shoot the entire feature film in just 3 days. At first it was feeling a bit risky. How am I going to take close-ups? How am I going to take the extreme wide shots? But the moment we started rolling, the whole energy on set started shifting. Without swapping lenses and draggy setups, the full setup was always ready to move and the team was fully present. Everyone was actually locked into the story and I realized this limitation was actually a freedom. And surprisingly, every shot became intentional. With one lens, you commit to the perspective and it forces you to be creative. We pushed the depth, the texture, the lighting, everything with just one lens telling the story. I don't want to talk about how terrible the focus breathing in that lens is, especially if you're using autofocus. We wanted to use it on autofocus because we didn't have a focus puller. And that was a terrible mistake and just a slight mistake that we actually did. If you're planning to use that lens, I prefer you get a focus puller who's going to help you get the shots instead of actually using the autofocus, because the autofocus has too much breathing and your video is gonna look just amateur. And the results, I just watched the film right now and it's feeling cohesive, very raw and alive. It just reminded me this phrase that sometimes less is more. So I'm now curious, if you just were in a position like me and just had one lens to tell an entire story, what lens would you pick? And just so you know, we were never disappointed by the way, but the focus breathing in that lens is so terrible. I wouldn't advise you to actually use autofocus if you're shooting on that lens. Otherwise, that was good.